The wedding had already started when someone handed me a phone. Not my phone, his. And the woman holding it looked terrified. I didn't understand at first, because nobody interrupts a wedding ceremony unless something is seriously wrong. Music was playing, guests were standing. My father had just walked me halfway down the aisle, and in the middle of all of that, a bridesmaid I barely knew rushed toward me and whispered, "I think you need to see this right now." I felt annoyed more than worried, because the timing felt insane until she pushed the phone into my hand. The screen was already unlocked, a conversation already open, and the first thing I saw was a photo. Not old, not vague, not questionable. Him, in our hotel room, kissing someone who wasn't me. My entire body went cold instantly, because I recognized the room immediately. The curtains, the mirror behind the bed, the suit bag hanging near the closet. It had been taken less than 4 hours earlier. Under the photo was a message. He said after today, he's finally leaving her. Her. Not fiancé, not bride. Her. Like I was already being discussed as someone temporary. The music outside kept playing, people still smiling, still waiting for me to continue walking. And suddenly, none of it felt real anymore. I looked up at the bridesmaid, hands shaking so hard I nearly dropped the phone. "Who sent this?" She hesitated, which scared me more than the photo. Then she said quietly, "The girl he's been seeing." My stomach dropped, because that sentence meant this wasn't a mistake, not a drunken decision, not one bad night, an ongoing relationship. And somehow, everyone else seemed to know about it except me. I kept thinking about that. How many conversations had happened while I was standing right there? How many people had known and said nothing? The bridesmaid swallowed hard before speaking again. She said if you marry him without knowing, she'll regret staying quiet. And in that moment, I realized I was standing in the middle of my own wedding, holding proof that the man waiting at the altar had been planning a future with someone else. I couldn't move. I just stood there, holding the phone, while the ceremony music continued outside like nothing was wrong. There were more messages beneath the photo, weeks of them, maybe months. I scrolled once, then immediately wished I hadn't, because the conversations weren't casual. They weren't uncertain. They talked like two people already building a life together. Trips they wanted to take, apartments they had looked at online, arguments about how long he was dragging this out. And the worst part was realizing the timeline. Some of those messages had been sent while we were planning the wedding. Cake tastings, venue tours, meeting my parents, all while promising another woman he was going to leave me afterward. I thought about every moment he had seemed distracted over the last few months, every late-night work call, every unexplained mood shift, and piece by piece, everything started rearranging itself into something uglier. The bridesmaid spoke carefully. She almost didn't send it. I looked up immediately. "What?" She said she didn't know about you at first. That hit me almost harder than the photo, because it meant he hadn't just lied to me. He had lied to both of us. Two women, two completely separate versions of himself, neither of us knowing the other was real. I looked back at the messages. One in particular stopped me cold. "I hate watching you pretend with her." Pretend. And suddenly, I understood something horrifying. This wasn't two-tet relationship. It was one hidden relationship and one public performance. Outside, I could hear guests laughing softly, someone adjusting microphones, the officiant trying to keep everyone calm. Meanwhile, my every year working was collapsing behind a hallway door. I handed the phone back, not because I was done, because I physically couldn't continue. The bridesmaid looked at me carefully. "Do you still want to do this?" And for the first time all day, I answered honestly. I don't know who I was about to marry. A few seconds later, my wedding planner appeared at the entrance, smiling nervously. "Everyone's waiting." I almost laughed, because technically, so was I, waiting for someone to explain how the man standing at the altar had become a complete stranger in less than 10 minutes. She looked at my face more carefully, and her expression changed immediately. "What happened?" Before I could answer, a new message appeared on the screen. This time, from him. Where are you? I stared at that for a long time. Such a normal question, such a harmless sentence. And somehow, that made everything worse. Because while he was texting me that, he already knew another woman was waiting for him after the ceremony. I imagined them later that night, him reassuring her, telling her to wait just a little longer, and something inside me went completely quiet. The wedding planner closed the hallway door behind us, then asked again, "What happened?" I couldn't answer, not because I didn't know what to say, because saying it out loud would make everything real. My phone started vibrating. Him again. "Are you okay?" And I felt real anger for the first time, because the concern sounded so genuine, so convincing. That was probably how he had survived this for so long, by becoming whatever the moment required. Devoted fiancé to one, promised future to another, and between the two of us, a lie careful enough to reach the altar. I looked back at the bridesmaid. Does she know where he is right now? She nodded slowly. She knows he's getting married today. That sentence hit differently than everything else, because it meant she had spent the entire morning knowing he was about to marry me, and still believed he belonged to her, which meant he had promised her something strong enough to make her stay. The planner touched my arm gently. "What do you want to do?" Because if I walked out there, I would spend the rest of my marriage wondering which parts of it had ever been real. The vows, the affection, the future, or whether I was just the life he hadn't figured out how to leave yet. The answer came immediately. I'm not marrying him. The silence afterward felt enormous. Not dramatic, not explosive, just final. Then my phone rang. This time I answered. "Hey," he said softly. "Everyone's waiting for you." I closed my eyes for a second, trying to understand how his voice could still sound so familiar after everything I had just seen. Then I asked the only question that mattered anymore. "Did you love her while you were asking me to marry you?" Silence. Not denial. Not confusion. Silence. And somehow, that hurt more than the photo ever could. Because in that moment, I finally understood something devastating. The truth wasn't hidden in what he said. It was hidden in everything he couldn't.